Did you know that over 80% of the world's population identifies with a religious group? Religion has been a fundamental part of human history, shaping civilizations, guiding moral frameworks, and fostering community. It has endured through eras of war, prosperity, and cultural transformation. But as we navigate a rapidly changing world, one that is vastly different from the context in which religions were originally developed for, the question arises, do we still need religion? In this video, we will not advocate for or criticize any particular religion. Instead, we will explore the essence of religion, its role in society, and examine its relevance and necessity for our modern world. I just want to preface that I'm not actually a religious person, but I've become quite interested in the void left behind from religion and how that void has been filled both individually and more broadly across society. Emerging from humanity's earliest attempts to understand and explain the natural world, religions have been a cornerstone of human civilization since the dawn of human history and offered solace in times of uncertainty. These early belief systems, often polytheistic, were characterized by rituals and myths that sought to appease and honor a pantheon of deities believed to control various aspects of existence. As societies evolved, so too did their religious practices. Religions adapted to changing social, political, and economic landscapes, ensuring their survival through times of war, conquest, and cultural transformation. From the complex mythologies of ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia to the philosophical religions of ancient Greece and Rome, and the monotheistic traditions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, religion provided a cohesive force that bound communities together, legitimized political authority, and offered a framework for interpreting human experience. There are also some interesting theories, including the one by Tom Holland, no, not the actor, that many of the secular customs of today actually descend from religion. He posits that areas such as science, ethics, and social customs were profoundly influenced by religious frameworks. For example, the early pursuit of scientific knowledge was often driven from religious motivations. Scholars like Isaac Newton conducted their research in the name of understanding God's creation. Religious institutions provided the initial infrastructure for education and scholarly inquiry, with monasteries and universities preserving and disseminating knowledge throughout the medieval period. Many moral and ethical principles central to Western society, including the concepts of human rights and individual dignity, have origins in Judeo-Christian teachings. Even modern secular holidays and rituals often echo religious ceremonies and festivals. This intricate interplay between the sacred and the secular highlights how deeply intertwined religion and culture have been throughout history, suggesting that many of the contemporary secular practices are in essence secularized forms of early religious traditions. Even if you disagree with the concept of religion, either from a rational perspective or a moral one, personally I think it's foolish to believe that it serves no purpose whatsoever. It's been well studied and shown that religious people on average are more content, fulfilled, and can cope better with life's many challenging obstacles. Many people who lived through atrocities often managed to psychologically cope because they felt like their religion offered them support and guidance through these periods. Religion also has traditionally provided numerous benefits, both individually and societally. On an individual level, first and foremost, it adds a deep sense of meaning that can give you a feeling of purpose even in the most turbulent of times. In addition, it typically adds a strong element of community, which, as the psychological literature makes very clear, is essential for good mental health and longevity. Finally, we have the moral framework that underpins any stable society. Without a set of shared values and principles, typically a culture descends into disillusionment or worse, anarchy. These values, either in the form of a text or general philosophy, can range from moral aspirations to hard rules. While some of these rules may seem a bit extreme or outdated from afar, it's always important to consider that they have stood the test of time for a reason. Many modern criticisms of religion point out that religious texts can seem outdated. However, it's important to recognize that many of these stories and ideas have withstood significant cultural changes. In any free society, there will be a natural tension between those who wish to change it, typically for the better, and those who lean on the side of caution and stability. While very few of the many great political and societal advancements would have been possible without the first group, it's also always worth remembering the idea of Chesterton's fence. This is a simple principle that reminds us to consider the purpose of long-standing traditions before discarding them. More specifically, if we come across a random fence that has been around for hundreds or thousands of years, but we don't understand its true purpose, and then we assume it therefore doesn't have one, we typically only realize the consequences after we've removed the fence. In addition, you risk undoing all the good work that has come before you and then potentially having to rebuild the same foundations that you've just dug up. Another common criticism is that many bad things, including wars, have been waged in the name of religion. This is undeniable, but doing something in the name of your religion is often more nuanced than it sounds. For example, a person claiming to be Christian is supposed to live in accordance with Christian values. This means that you should treat your neighbours well, have compassion, and always be willing to forgive those around you. If this person then starts a war or commits a murder in the name of Christianity, is it truly the fault of the religion? This is a complicated question and there's no simple answer, but it's worth remembering that anything as profound as religion can ultimately be leveraged as a tool by those who wish to manipulate others. We've also seen other examples, such as the horrible crimes committed by Catholic priests towards children. Is the underlying religion the problem? Or are these people merely under the umbrella of a religious organisation that gives them a platform for corrupt behaviour? What I've come to learn is to try and separate the values and philosophies from the organisations itself, since any institution is always susceptible to the unfortunate truth of human nature and that power corrupts. So if religion, or at least some religions, are on the decline, then what will fill this void in society? Many have made the claim that this exact phenomenon explains the rapid increase in activism, woke culture and environmentalism, and identity politics. This may be true, and one of the big shifts that underpins these changes is the transition of people's focus from the community to the individual. Woke culture puts individual feeling above rationality or group consensus. Identity politics tends to be in contrast to the original ideas that gave way to it. More specifically, rather than seeing the world in a colourblind way, as Martin Luther King once envisioned, race, gender and sexuality have become the focus. There are two issues that I can see with this. The first is that it is unbounded in a way similar to that of religious beliefs, except religions have survived the test of time and have placed structures within it for stability, whereas these modern political concepts are very susceptible to something called concept creep. This just means that various definitions can be expanded or modified over time so that the original definition of a concept completely loses its meaning. The other issue, and this is the more important one and more relevant to religion, is that it moves the emphasis from the collective to the individual. As Jordan Peterson makes clear from a psychological perspective, the more time you spend thinking about yourself, the less happy you become. In order to be happy and fulfilled, you have to think of something bigger than yourself. This is something that pretty much every religion has already figured out, and you can even find this idea in philosophies such as Stoicism, which I've recently made a video on. So to wrap things up, the idea isn't to sell you on any specific religion, as doing so would be hypocritical, but rather to acknowledge what religion actually offers. Through this knowledge, you can incorporate some of the principles and values into your own life. Of course, if you find a religion or community that aligns with these values, then that's great too. However, you can't simply choose your beliefs. But what you can do is find a group of people that aligns with your values, or you can surround yourself with a community that promotes the beliefs that you want to acquire. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, I'd really appreciate a like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.